GM. Welcome back, everybody.
Soundboard today.
Sound check.
So now we're ready for the OG classics.
See.
But also, when we've made some money today, let's get it. All right. Anyway, good to see you guys here today again. Hope you're all having a wonderful time. I also hope that the 12 o'clock in the afternoon is a better time, so you can watch this during lunchtime. And yeah, let's get started. There's something you wanted to share just before we went live, no?
Oh no, but it's a little bit. You want to start with the red pill stuff or crypto stuff?
Let's perhaps start with the crypto and then move on to the red pill.
Yeah, man.
All right. Well, good news, everybody. I think I'm very feeling bullish again. Never felt differently, to be honest. But of course, the altcoins went down for quite some time. We pretty much called the absolute bottom in VIP again. We've waited for a long time, told everybody to stay patient, hold on, not to purchase anything. And of course, bottom was in, purchased exactly motherfucking bottom, made money already again, had extra fiat on the side because we waited. Reversals are in sight. Bitcoin around 95K, holding strong. Not saying that we're out of the mud yet, but it's looking good. And I'm having faith, and I'm feeling very optimistic. And I it's just a good feeling to see that most altcoins are already 2x'd, triple x'd. So that's a quick buck, especially if you saved your fiat, put it on the side. So I'm just happy that we remained faithful, that we kept waiting. I've had many comments, even today. Is 400,000 Bitcoin still in play? Do you regret it? Blah, blah, blah. PABs, all of them, still in play, of course. You must be blind if you don't see it now. Because honestly, if you're screaming, oh, you're wrong when we're going down and Bitcoin is at 75K, I can get it. You're going with the emotions, you're going with the flow of the price. But Bitcoin recovered, man. And of course, it's not where we want it. It's not 100K plus yet. But if it's there, will you finally be convinced? Because there's no higher level than that. The top was 108, 109. So if we move another 10K, we're already at all-time highs. Is that the moment you start to activate? Or do you now consider, maybe he does see something? Maybe America does intend to buy Bitcoin. Maybe the director of the SEC is in fact pro-crypto. Maybe the administration of Trump is actually doing what they're saying. Maybe they achieved so much within the first 100 days. Perhaps they're buying a lot of it behind my back. The whales indeed kept buying, and it was just retail that sold. So there are so many things. It's actually, I have to tell you, if you don't make money this cycle, you are stupid. I'm sorry, I love you, but you're stupid. And it's actually the same every cycle. And it's the same discussion every cycle. In the way that the cycles have an effect on human psychology is every cycle the same. How the cycles act out and how the altcoins move and when they move, this can differ, this can vary, this changes. And there's always something else driving price. The first time it was low market cap coins. It was having altcoins for the first time. It was retail at home that pushed the prices. It was China fully jumping into the altcoins, which are activated by now, by the way, which will continue with this bull run, by the way. So don't keep that in mind. The second one was more for the companies, a different kind of wave. And then finally, we have the institutional driven, of course. All cycles have been driven by the Bitcoin halvings, but every cycle happened in a different way. But in the end, it's all the same, and people act the same. When prices go up, they wish they had bought, and if prices go down, they all say you're wrong. They all say it's going to zero, and it happens in the same manner every single time. And you have to imagine that, especially in the VIP, I'm not saying that these comments are placed in the VIP, not at all. I think the VIP remains very strong. I think the people who choose to stay around actually start to believe the vision more after going through certain depths. But we've been saying for so long, I think every crash, Ian, every single crash of 10%, people are panicking in the Discord, on social media, in DM, everywhere. And we kept saying, guys, this is nothing. You haven't experienced a proper dip. You haven't seen Bitcoin go down more than 20% in total. You haven't seen altcoins go completely wrecked. And when it finally happened, so many people lost faith. They forgot everything they learned. They forgot everything about the vision. They denied all the facts because it's not hopium, it's not copium, it's not speculating. It's looking at the data and seeing what is going to happen. It's that simple.
Facts. It's obvious, right, Mike? Because a lot of people, first of all, you said a lot of things, but a lot of people they're getting blinded by how do you say, the same narrative, like the fear mongering, and it's very odd or rare to say, but all these influencers, they all repeat each other, and we keep saying this. They don't take the time and look at the data for themselves, because if you look at the data, then you wouldn't see all these sheeps repeating each other, bah, 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 bah. You see like, okay, wait a minute, there's something happened in the market. BTC went to 75k. Are there any chances that we could go lower? Yes, no. Underbow it, like explain, but don't go screaming, yeah, I told you we're at 74, we're going to 66, 60,000, 58. That is just, how do you call it? Ongegrond. It's not, it's gebakken lucht.
Unbased.
Yeah, it's just, okay, it's nice that you think that, but why are you saying that that could happen? Like, what are the odds? And that's why we have technical analysis, TA, etc., etc. My point is, yes, we have been, I think, the last 3 years on point, no? Like, the short-term price changes.
Everything from, I think, end of 2022 up until today, we have predicted everything. And that's some fair point that you're saying, because I see so many influencers online, big English international accounts. They are the biggest pussies out there. They are emotional. They are changing opinion every single fucking week or 2 weeks, from going from bearish to bullish to and back again, and always, they're flip-flopping on their thoughts. Well, if you actually looked at the data, if you actually believed, and I'm not saying all of them, because there are some guys out there that were actually consistent and strong, but I think 80%, which is still a very big percentage, of course, because you expect, especially the people with a lot of followers, to bring you proper facts, and they just don't. So this is very, very interesting to me, man.
Yeah, real value. Just bring real value, and not just copy pasta what everybody's saying. And to make an example, because I'm not a streamer, I don't have a lot of following, but last week I did make a video, guys, we're going higher next week. All this time, while all the other influencers were talking, we're going lower. So it's not that I have a magic ball or something like that. It's just I look at the data, and the data is telling me that any moment right now, we're going to have a liftoff. That's what I said last week, maybe 1.5 weeks ago. I don't know. But it's a clear change in sentiment or how do you call it? Direction, up instead of down. So that being said, we have no impact of what other people can tell you, but what we do is just, yeah, we love what we're doing, and we're doing it just for you guys. But bullish as ever. And I want to come back as that point, Mike, 400k for a Bitcoin. I think that most people, they're mad because it didn't happen yet. So my question is, do you still think 400k is on the books for this year, or is it still extended super cycle playing out? And I think that is where most people attract value or attach value. The short term. I want to know in this time what happened, but yeah.
So that's the difficult one. I'm also having some doubts about. I am very sure that it will happen this cycle, so before next halving. But I'm not sure if we will see. And that's what I said at the beginning. Every cycle will play out slightly different than others, and I've seen some very interesting data. So of course, in I think it was last or the VIP live stream of 2 weeks ago, I explained the fact that I think that that it takes longer every cycle for the cycle to play out. So what I mean by that is that for the first cycle, after the first halving, I should say, so actually second cycle, we saw that Bitcoin actually had an instant liftoff when the Bitcoin halving took place. When we had the second halving, so the third cycle, and the fourth halving, so the fifth cycle, we saw that it took 6 months for a Bitcoin to go parabolic, and go higher. Right now, in this cycle, the last cycle, we are seeing that the price went up after 6 months, but we're not seeing a parabolic increase yet. So every time there's something else happening in the cycles. But I think, and I speculated 2 weeks ago, that there's a big chance that it will now take 12 months of waiting instead of 6 months, because it just makes sense to me that every time it's like a ripple effect, If you throw something into the water, the first ring is very strong and then it weakens, but it still has the same effect on the water, And I think the same thing is true and happening with the Bitcoin halving and the Bitcoin price, because every time there's a certain supply shock, and every time the market behaves on it, every time the miners have to anticipate on this, every time it's the same but different, So to answer your question is, I think, and I speculated that most likely we will see a slightly extended cycle. So this means that we won't see the top of Bitcoin in Q3, Q4. So let's say August until November, which was my first estimation of where we would see the top. But I would add about 6 months to October, I believe. So that makes that we would see a top around April of 2026, which could very well align with the Bitcoin Act actually getting accepted, the United States actually buying 1 million Bitcoin over a period of 5 years, actually getting it into legislation. So I think this is what I'm going for right now. Alternatively, if we do have an original cycle, then that means that we would have such an immense upside, which is possible, don't get me wrong, but there's too much things happening right now. So I think 400K is still in play. I think we will see it in early 2026. Again, this is all speculation because I have no hard data to prove this. And usually when we're talking straight data. But there is one tweet I wanted to share real quick, if you don't mind, which is the following. Give me 1 second because I have to open my X account real quick. And
I don't mind. I think the deep state minds. No, just
so kidding. It was actually this one.
You're sharing a different screen, Mike.
Should be this one. So here we can see a chart which was posted by Sina_21 first, where it's basically showing that every time that the price went up 6 times, so made a 6x basically from $1 to, let's say, 7, from 7 to 51, etc., etc., etc. It took 40% longer to achieve this effect. So seeing this, there also seems to be a slight delay of when things are happening over here as well. Of course, this could all be copium because I noticed that Twitter especially is looking at everything that seems to match as long as it matches, Mm-hmm. But it does make sense to me. And especially if you combine this with what I was saying before, that we are actually probably going to have an extended something. At the same time, on a macroeconomic level, a lot of things are happening which are taking time. So I'm guessing that there is a higher probability of an extended cycle. So if you would put it in probabilities, right? So what are the odds of something happening? I think that there is a biggest chance of an extended cycle, a slightly lower chance of it actually happening the end of 2025. Then there's the chance of it happening late 2026. And then there's a chance that Bitcoin will go into a bear market. So this is how I estimate the probabilities and the things that could happen. So it's that simple. What do you think?
It's difficult to say, because I have to agree with you with everything that you said, but I see a comment from Funny People Fail. It is in Dutch. We don't answer Dutch comments, Funny People Fail. But this is a scenario to keep in mind, because let's say something happens, like a unforeseen event, right? A black swan. In my opinion, this will impact the market. So if this is the case, then we have to keep this in the back of our head, that the black swan didn't happen yet. And I know that some people think, and we had it in a recent podcast about it, but this was not the black swan event, guys. And I think this week we saw what could happen with a possible black swan event. Now I want to sidetrack a little bit from crypto to the red pill, because now it's because it's getting tangible, right? We can keep talking about this could happen and this could happen, hypotheses, but what is the reality? The reality is that there will be a blackout caused by, I don't know, they say a cyber attack, world power outages. They did warn for us in Spain, Portugal, etc., etc. But what is the main reason? They say it's some atmospheric phenomenon. Bullshit. The only reason that this happened is that Spain and Portugal, they transitioned to, I think, 50 or 70% of their energy to renewables. That's what happened. So, point case, they get out all the old fossil fuels, this how do you call it, the mines, etc., and they want renewable energy, but the grid isn't sufficient for it. So what happens if there's a lot of sun? The grid collapses because there's not enough batteries for all the capacity, etc., etc. But if this is the case, guys, and now I want to get to my point, in Spain and Portugal, because there is no power, no energy, no internet, the people, they have to, how do you say it in English? They have to decide for themselves what's going on. My point is, fake news or misinformation will spread like wildfire, because when you have no access to information and they say, yes, it's the Russians, did a cyber attack, Portugal, Spain, Greece, France, Germany, the Holland, all other countries are hit also, people are going to believe it. But that's not true, right? So when you have no more access to what is true, then there will be like a few hours till panic and chaos. And that is what we are talking about the recent years. If that is a scenario where there will be panic and chaos in most of the Western civilization for a few weeks, then we won't be talking about Bitcoin, guys. But that's just a narrow paint I want to picture for you guys, because I know Funny People, he asked something about Israel and the blackout of Spain and weapons. It's my point is, coincidence don't exist. It's all planned. So if that's the case, just be informed, like, okay, they're doing this. We know that they're going to do this because Klaus Schwab, he went on TV in 2024 saying there will be a massive attack, etc. So we know this, and now they're doing it. And this is what the Illuminati does. They hide it, or they openly hide it of their next plan, so what they're trying to do, and they will just do it. So let me remind you, if this is the case, that there will be a black swan event, then everything that Mike is saying, or that we're saying, is nietig verklaard. It will be, unnecessary for the short term, right, Mike? Because I think this is getting a more realistic scenario than decide when will Bitcoin go to 1 million. It will be like, what is important when the black swan happens? Because we've seen it last week. Like, it's enough right before our front doors. And if this happens, guys, then we have a major issue. And this is where the topic, or in my point, we must look at this.
I also think it's a test to see how people are responding, just like how COVID was a test to see how people are responding, how they, how they obey, how they act, what they say, if they can suppress other information, which they were pretty successful at, if you ask me. So I think that they were pretty actively testing it out. besides it, of course, being consequences of their own actions, you know, especially when they're celebrating destroying their own nuclear power just 3 years ago. You know, there's so many things that are like they're so obvious. It's actually ridiculous. Also, a previous question: why are we talking English instead of Dutch? Because we're going international, man. That's very simple.
Yeah, but
there's nothing more to it.
A little bit sidetrack. Yeah, you got to learn English, man, guys, because English is better than Chinese, I think. But it's international language.
Also, it doesn't make sense for me to make multiple language content if I'm abroad interviewing people internationally. So let's say we were to go to Dubai Token event right now, which is happening. People speak English there as well. So that's why we're only answering or putting up English comments on the screen. So if you want it on the screen, you should type it in English. It's that simple. On the other hand, they also shown that the future CBDC will fail completely during a power blackout.
It's how you look at it, right? It's how you look at it. No? Explain, Mike.
Because the CBDC is using blockchain technology. So just like Bitcoin won't fail during a power blackout, CBDCs won't definitely fail during a power blackout. In fact, I think they are putting the blackouts on people to get people to start using the CBDC, because they will have ways to make it work offline through NFC.
Yeah, do you think that the CBDC technology, of course, we know blockchain, we've had in-depth arguments or discussions about blockchain, if internet's gone, will Bitcoin exist? Yes. Do you think that the CBDC technology will exist when there is a total blackout? But it makes no sense, right? Because you have no transportation, you have no airplanes, no supply management.
Yes, you're right, but again, they control the outages. It isn't an accident. No, they use it as a tool. It is a tool. It isn't a real emergency, guys. You don't honestly believe that this was a real accident, right? Or that this was actually caused by some fucking solar. Come on, man.
Phenomenon.
Come on, don't be that guy. You know, it is. Like everything, a tool created to control. So what is their goal? We know what their goal is. They want to roll out the CBDCs in October of this year in Europe. Why are they doing it? Because Trump is throwing dirt into the food. I'm not sure how to say it in English, but you understand, right?
He's exposing the swamp.
He's draining the swamp. So they need to speed up the process of people actually getting the value and transferring over to the CBDC, because they could have had 4 more years if someone like Kamala Harris or the Democrats were chosen, you know? So their timeline got drastically shortened, and not just shortened, but they are actually in danger because Trump is exposing them all. GD Vance is exposing Europe. A lot more people are speaking out. So this is something that there's a huge switch in narrative, you know. So they have to speed it up. And you know, if we're looking at von der Leyen, the commissioner of the European Union, she got her 7th salary raise because of inflation, and it went from like 32,000 a month to 34,000 because, of course, they need to pay for their groceries as well. You know, so it's all a joke. It's all a scam, and they pretty much just turned or sabotaged the power. And of course, I have no proof of this. You know, right now it's pure speculation. I didn't get this from anywhere else. But when I look at the messaging, when I look at all the similar news reports, all the similar titles, it's just a mainstream media machine at work. They're trying to scare people, fearmonger them into them understanding that without power, they cannot use their phone, they cannot do any transactions. So the CBDC will most definitely, and I've already heard them say this, you know, before the power outage, you will be able to use it offline. You will be able to use it like a cash alternative. Of course, it isn't. but they will, just with the touch of your phone or whatever, you are able to still transact. So I have a different vision in this, but of course time will tell. Also this is pure speculation, but I don't trust the people. I don't trust Europe. It's all too coincidental. It's stupid. It was definitely staged, like you say.
Facts. So what's gonna be next? Did you see the flying things like Project Blue Beam and stuff like that?
I haven't seen. No. What happened?
There are some flying, very strange like lights in the sky and above the sea. I saw it on Twitter a few days ago on X.
The light bulb, the light ball.
Yeah, for example, a light ball or something.
Yeah, I saw one video come around, but I skipped it, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, because it's most likely fake, right? AI, right? But the problem is, as soon as this, you look outside and you see like a big light bulb or some Godzilla coming onto you. that's what's gonna be next, right? I mean, people they underestimate the power of AI, and I'm pretty sure that if you're scrolling on social media right now, you won't even know what's the difference between an AI and a real person. And don't get it twisted, guys, because the AI is all,
for sure.
It's all part of the plan, right? Because total control will become available through AI, because with AI they control the how do you call it, the direction they want to go, the misinformation, the wait please go take on mic. I'm gonna do some diving for you. I'm gonna show you an article where they do this.
Separate thought, which is irrelevant to this, but also right now we're warning for the CBDCs, right? But these will be rolled out pretty soon, end of this year. People will start to use it. Again, said it so many times, see this as the financial vaccination. Project it as long as you can. Use alternatives as long as you can. Keep using fiat, keep using cash, keep using Bitcoin. That's it. That's your protection there. However, we will enter an era, besides AI, of course, but we will enter an era where in the faster. So this is a danger for this year, right? But something that will become a danger over in like 5 years' time is that they will try to get your brain waves. And I know this sounds perhaps a bit out there, but they already had presentations to show this. We've showcased it many times. I think we even did it in a podcast a few years ago, definitely in the VIP. But I would reject chips and implements as long as you can, So that's something I wanted to say.
Take note stuff like that, man, because it's written. If you take a chip in your hand or in your forehand, it's the mark of the beast, guys. And it is written, without this chip, you cannot trade, you cannot drink, you cannot eat, you cannot do anything. But that's just my 2 cents. Do what you want. Did you check the link that I sent you, Mike? Where?
No, but I will open
it. It's very important because there has been a study, and the University of Zurich has been using AI bots to manipulate this online readers, and this is a problem, guys.
This one, right?
Yeah. It changes their mind.
The bots were 6 times more likely to change the minds of Redditors than the baseline, often by leveraging misinformation.
That's what they do. They change your mind based on algorithms, and they ask, okay, what do you need to know? Then they just overflow you with all this information, but it's fake. So you start thinking, this must be real. I mean, I see it here, and then I see it here, connect the dots, it should be real. But it's fake. This is what AI does, guys.
This will be weaponized for sure, because there's already, and Trump is exposing that right now, or actually Doge is exposing that right now, where they were exposing news outlets of actually, they had an expensive word for it, like thought manipulation control or something like that. It was something else, but actually mind-changing propaganda, basically, which is something that Obama made legal, by the way, way back in 2008, I think. Not sure. Like 10 plus years ago, anyway. But the thing is, now they actually have AI to harness this power. So this is becoming a real danger, that's the thing, you know. We will most definitely see a universal basic income in the nearby future. AI will pretty much get rid of most jobs, even physical ones, because don't underestimate how fast robots are being produced as well, how fast they are able to actually get things done. And then if you give them eyes and a brain, which AI pretty much is, they're ready to take over your job, you know. So Bitcoin, I get physically upset of people underestimating how much Bitcoin can save you, you know. And we're out here talking about, will Bitcoin get 400,000 this cycle and blah blah blah, and this is like the main discussion. Even there, people are saying that we are crazy, you know, but they don't understand that Bitcoin is actually your savior, you know. It's like the one thing that can hold you afloat when the boat is sinking, you know. You bent muted, man.
It's like kryptonite against the governments.
For sure.
The one thing that only can stop them, guys. And now we may be laughing, but the history keeps repeating itself. It's just like in 1960s or 50s. Did you know that cigarettes were good? Doctors, they went on air marketing that cigarettes are healthy for your lifestyle.
I know.
Smoke
Yep.
cigarette is good. So it took them 50 or 60 years to realize, wait a minute, cigarettes are not good. They're bad for you.
The same as right now with the food pyramid,
Exactly.
everything, health. And I'm also, are you seeing what RFK is doing? Yep. Because he's banning food coloring. He's doing a lot of great job in the States. Huh?
Yeah, but I saw the videos, but without the dye, right? Because the dye, it has chemicals or metals, heavy metals in it. It's poisoning. Mm-hmm. But then I saw the newer products. They look exactly like the old products. So you start questioning, why did these companies intended? Yeah, they intend to poison us, and that's when shit gets messed up. And that when you see that and you start googling shit or doing your own investigation, you'll see, okay, wait a minute. Trump is a good guy. Bitcoin is the answer. That's long story short point. That's it.
Yeah, it's crazy because that's actually a great point you bring up. Because why are the products in Europe made in a safer way for now? Because Europe is going downhill real quick. Don't get me wrong. Also, with all the insects going into your food, which has already been passed. It's implemented.
Yeah.
It isn't even a speculation. No, you're going to eat insects and you won't even know it. Up to 4%. And this is the slide.
The eggs, guys, they're importing eggs from Ukraine, like 500% more eggs from Ukraine. Why Ukraine? What's wrong with the Dutch eggs? And look at the eggs, guys, because in Netherlands, yes, I look at this when I buy the eggs. It needs to have a number on it, 0, 1, or 2. And then NL or DA or UK, or I don't know what Ukraine is, but my point is the eggs from Ukraine, guys, they are most likely vaccinated.
But the Dutch eggs already are. I think it's the blue one from the Lidl. Not sure because I already left them, but I saw it going round. There's one certain brand that is actually getting vaccinated in.
It has no tag, I think, right? It has no sticker or how do you call it? The stamp.
They all have a stamp. So there's the numbers you indicate, the 0, 1, and 2. They basically show quality, right? So
how the chicken is chicken. So chicken is.
Was it a free chicken? Was it locked up? You know, they're all in fucking cages. They're all horrible. Don't get me wrong, but they show if something is like vrije loop or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
The Dutch government doesn't have to tell you, or the producers of those eggs don't have to tell you which ones are actually getting vaccinated and which aren't. And they don't really share this information. So eggs are pretty much compromised in the Netherlands. And this is also something, you know, you should eat eggs every day. Eggs are the one thing that keep you healthy, you know, and that's why they're poisoning the eggs. That's why they're killing the chickens. it isn't a coincidence. This is also one of those things. Do you really think it's a coincidence that they killed so many chickens in the United States and that they're now trying to poison the eggs in Europe?
In 2023, by the way.
It is the most perfect protein out there. The perfect balance of protein, fats, cholesterol, these kind of things. You know, it's the almost the most perfect thing you can eat. In fact, it is actually the bringer of life. An egg is an unborn fucking chicken, you know. So it would make perfect sense that this is very healthy for you. And then again, if you go into the food pyramids and these kind of things, that pretty much the paid marketing scientists that you mentioned just before, these are all very wrong, you know. So try to eat as natural as you can. Try to get proper proteins, and eggs are good for you, but just make sure, especially in the Netherlands right now, that you're not getting the eggs. Because I remember, Ian, we've talked about this also like 2 years ago, and we weren't talking about meat, but we were talking about how they would vaccinate vegetables and actually get it in your food. And thanks, Bazi, but it's fine, man. Thank you.
F you too. It is what it is, man. It is what it is.
Yep.
No, but
Johan is a PAB, little bitch. But you know, it's actually crazy that you still get these comments. But he must have just tuned in because obviously he's retarded. But I wonder how these people are going to look at this point in time, when they're going to look back when Bitcoin actually is going to 400K or more, even like 600,000. And they look back at the time where they could actually have bought, participated, and they just lacked vision, lacked mental capacity, lacked
conviction,
balls, conviction, and chose to be a bitch.
It's as simple as that, man. I mean, it's just like you said, every cycle, it's the same. Only thing this cycle is we had a lower extended, there's like a lower high, how do you call it? A lower ROE compared to other cycles. But we know this, and maybe you need to refresh the people's minds. Last cycle was manipulated. FTX and the whole Fugazi shizzles. Bitcoin should have gone to 100K then. The only reason why it's taking so long this cycle is pure because we're going way higher, way higher. And that's what we're saying for the last few years.
I'm showing that actually in my free course. You know, it's like the beginner basic information. But people are retarded, you know, because we entered the market here, and then from the top we are literally down 12%, and people are saying that it's over. It's just, it would make more sense for you to say it here or there, that we didn't get a liftoff, or maybe even here a while back. But yeah, people are just retarded, and also called the bottom, of course, bought, doubled and tripled our money with most coins, and then people still come into this chat and say that it's over. It's actually interesting to see how many people are missing the boat every time, you know, and actually taking the time and effort to leave comments.
Can you go back to the chart? Can you go back to the chart, please? Because it's very nice that you said, because I think in Bitcoin's history, it has been declared dead at least 1,000 times, if I can remember.
Oh my God. You can't even track it. I'm not logged in on Edge, but
yeah, no spawn. But even the last many times, 2 years, they said Bitcoin's dead. But the ECB in 2022 said Bitcoin has no intrinsic value. It's donezo with Bitcoin. Okay, ECB, it went up by 600% or something. So my point is,
sorry that I interrupt, but literally everybody who purchased before 5 months ago, everybody in the entire world is in profit for Bitcoin. And now in the last 5 months, you're saying, in fact, it's only the people who purchased the last 3 months. Sorry, the 3 months before, you know, the first quarter, only those people are experiencing a slight loss. All others are in profit.
Yeah. Everybody after October 2024 is in profit.
Yep,
Still,
yep.
but of course, talking about Bitcoin, we're not talking about alts or other low caps, high risk coins. But Bitcoin is the main driver for this cycle. Everything against BTC just going down to zero, it seems like. But the tide will turn soon enough. It's our opinion.
Yep. Anyway, Johan, I'm going to ban you, fuck you, and your mom. Okay, bye-bye. So anyway, Marcus is saying, each monthly looking like a bullish reversal as well. So basically, let's open the chart real quick, because I had a thought, and I wanted to share this with the VIP, but now you bring up a good point. A lot of people, I should actually do it on my Chrome, but whatever, I'm now here. So many people are looking at this chart, right? And the ETH monthly, I think I'm not seeing the bullish reversal you're talking about, but perhaps you're looking at...
I think he's looking at the USD pair.
Yeah, okay. Well, then seeing it as well. But anyway, let's go back to the previous chart, which is this one. Sorry, the ETH BTC. So a lot of people are considering this chart for a new alt season, right? But I think that's stupid too, because ETH is dying. There are way better technologies than ETH. ETH is just the biggest altcoin right now, but it won't be. It will vanish slowly but surely. So yes, this could be a support of Ethereum versus Bitcoin, and this could be the moment, like a bottom and a bottom indicator, these kind of things. But personally, I had the thought this morning in the gym, wouldn't it make way more sense for people to actually start looking at Solana versus Bitcoin? Because the only reason that people at all started looking at the ETH BTC chart is because it was a great indicator of the alt season, because it was the biggest and most prominent and most delivering altcoin out there. Mm-hmm. But times have changed, guys. The times have changed. So it isn't the best indicator anymore. I think we should take a look at Solana BTC, or at least the most prominent altcoin out there. But I think it is, I don't want to look at XRP. I personally would definitely look at Solana, because Solana, in fact, was the altcoin that showed great prices. It went all the way down until 10 or 20, something in between, went all the way up to like $200, $300, something like this, and now it's going back up. So personally, I would consider this chart way more than another chart, and it could give you some very interesting insights, about what's going to happen. But the exact analysis I will leave out for VIP. But I think it's something worth considering and taking a look at,
In my honest opinion, no, it's not.
Why not?
Because the Solana, okay, Ethereum was, or currently is, the biggest altcoin because of its ICO phase. CBDCs are most likely going to be built on it. Solana getting a lot of attention, because it's most likely ETF coming up, a lot of some Sol Pump fund stuff. But I don't think that the Solana Foundation will be as big as the ETH Foundation. Let me just say it again. I don't think that it will be as big as ETH, because right now, even though Ethereum wasn't valued at, let's say Ethereum was valued at $10 billion in 2017 or 18. The foundation was already at 100+ billion because of all the organizations, all the teams participating, etc., etc. I don't see this happening for Solana per se, but I do see this happening for the whole crypto space, like Avalanche, Ondo, Solana, Chainlink. They will all be interconnected with each other. So pure on that base, I don't think that Solana will have the same, or will most likely have the same effect as what ETH did. But it is a clear indication that Ethereum's time is done, and that there are newer layer 8s who are doing things better than Ethereum. So that's the only reason why I think that Solana is not going to do exactly what ETH did. But that being said, Solana
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that Solana is a great indicator for seeing the alt season actually happening. I'm not saying that it will give you previous Ethereum results.
But it could be, right? I mean, you're saying if, let's say, Solana is gonna be a better indication of when the alt season starts, then why couldn't it become what ETH did when ETH was the front runner in 2017? For example, let's say all the ICOs are going to be built on Solana, because I don't think that's going to be the case. I don't think that people are going to be building on Solana. I think they're going to be building on chains like Avalanche, Chainlink, like the real network of effect, not Solana or Ethereum. Ethereum can't even handle 10,000 transactions per second. Solana can't even handle real 100,000 transactions per second. So it's all fake. The only ones who can are Avalanche, in my opinion. I know that they have a very crazy subnet. I know Sonic is somewhere up there. Cardano seems with a few contracts that they have. But me just thinking out loud from a technical point of view. This has nothing to do with what I think is going to happen. Just what's possible right now and what could be possible in the near future. But that's my 2 cents, right? Because blockchain is getting matured. It's getting more and more matured. And I think the times that the front runner of this and that are done. The only difference is Bitcoin, and Bitcoin against the rest. And I think in due time, this will become more and more and more clearer, where, let's say, Bitcoin hits $1 million or $10 million, people will start looking at other, when in 2017, when the whole hype started, like, what's going to be the next Bitcoin? Everybody was looking, they don't want intrinsic value. They don't care what the coin is doing. They want the next Bitcoin. Like, which coin is going to go get X1,000 next time? That phase is going to happen again. Why? Because history is going to repeat itself. We were one of the first innovators in the space, like before 2017. And like 80% of people in now are after 22 or 21. So I think we'll see some resemblance with the first few years. But this is pure speculation, of course. We'll have to see how it plays out. But one important note that I wanted to say, Mike, was this. I didn't expect... Can I share my screen?
Yes.
A window this. I think that most people, they underestimate what happened with the Ethereum chart. Why do I say this? Ethereum, it went all the way down, and I didn't see this. I didn't notice this. I just noticed this right now. It went all the way down to the levels where it was in 2017, 2018 run. I didn't notice. Did you notice this? That it wicked. You see this wick here and this wick here. It's like crazy. And this is something, in my opinion, very indicating, because if you go to XRP has most likely the same, wherein we are right at the same range. But Bitcoin, yes, please don't. Maybe I should get another Bitcoin chart. One that's not so messed up. Okay, this is also messed up. But wait.
Start a new layout if you want.
Let's do this, yeah. Bitcoin, the 2017 level was here. And then this, and then this. This is, in my opinion, a clear sign of strength in the asset. And this proves our point that Bitcoin is the number one asset that we need to be looking at. This is just a nice something I saw to take with, but I didn't notice that ETH dropped. So in other words, all the gains from the last 7 years, 7 years, have been just passed out, wiped out. And that's crazy. As an investor, as a believer, as an innovator, this is not something you want to see. But anyway, that's just my 2 cents, because as long as this baby keeps on going, it's just go time, man. It's just go time. This baby's going to keep on going. Anyway, that's what I wanted to show, Mike.
What is your view on all these new ETF requests for a lot of crypto? Is it a bad thing for the market price? No, we predicted this already way back when the Bitcoin spot ETF was announced. We already said that most other cryptos will have ETFs, that you will have a flood of these things, and that they're actually good for crypto as a whole. However, all these ETFs, like you're seeing right now, they eventually will water down, So a lot of institutional investors, you notice this so much if you go to crypto events, like physical crypto events as well, Most people, they just hold Bitcoin. Some have Ethereum. one or two have a certain altcoin, but they just have one altcoin, you know. There are very few actual institutional investors, like business people or whatever. It's just the people at home that have a failed portfolio with so many altcoins. All these institutional buyers, they are actually either buying indexes or ETFs, which could be the same, but most ETFs that are launched in the United States right now contain one crypto. I think it's part of adoption. I don't think that if these things get accepted, they are a massive driver for a bull market or something. It's just a logical response to whatever we were seeing before. So that's my thought on it, you know.
It's all fugazi, man. Because why, in my opinion, why do they introduce ETFs? Because the main narrative is going to say, yes, the market has matured and people don't trust these fake crypto digital currencies. So they create some trust fund for people who have like a lot of money to invest in these kind of assets who are not really trustworthy. But we know that Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are the most, I wouldn't say the most safest form of money, but you cannot override the agreements. Let's say if you and me agree that, hey, we will have 10 of each and we will never have more. And you, let's say, hey, FE, man, I'm going to make 100 of mine and you'll have 10. It's an unfair playing field. So with crypto and blockchain technology, we have the possibilities to really get out fraud and have a equal playing field. And if that's the case, guys, my point is investors or people with a lot of money, they wouldn't only buy through ETFs, because I think everybody is going to give out cryptocurrency possibilities. Your local bank, your central bank, your pension fund, everybody is going to be giving away options to invest in crypto, because the long-term value of this asset is crazy. There has never been anything like this. And yes, I'm talking about crypto and not Bitcoin in particular. Why? Because you will see in due time, recent time, why. And that's why I think that ETFs, of course, they're nice because there's a lot of inflow of money, but they are not a necessity for the crypto space to. It's not a bad thing for crypto in particular, because everybody will have cryptocurrencies. Your local bank, nogmaals, ABN, Rabo, ING, Bank of America, everybody is going to give the possibility or option to swap your crypto seamlessly, because that's money.
All right. Two last questions, a quick one. This one is in Dutch, so I'm skipping it. But Mark, you should remember for next time. And Lucas is saying, what about ICP? So I guess ICP, my opinion, remains the same. They have a huge team working on different technologies. They are building something that no other chains are actually building. They have the manpower, they have the funding. I hold a relatively good bag of ICP, so I have hope for them, but we could be wrong. It's that simple. I do think that most of the money eventually will be in the layer ones. However, the danger about ICP is that you don't actually need ICP to make transactions. So that's a dangerous thing. So anyway, that's it. I have to go, Ian. So if you have anything else to add.
No, man. Stay safe, everybody. It's funny to see this. Stay safe. I know the people who have been watching us. We have stay safe and stay aggressive. There was some recent shift or a transition to stay aggressive, but not
Quick
yet.
one.
We're not yet. We crawl back. We crawl back. Like stay safe. Stay safe.
Yeah, but to actually define it, I think it's stay aggressive once we reach a new all-time high for Bitcoin. And when the altcoins actually follow, that's when you stay aggressive. So stay tuned for that.
Yes, yes, the phase still needs to come, right? I mean, the parabola 150, 80, 200, 300. Guys, be blessed, and we'll see you next time.
Love. Peace.
If I do crypto, this ain't gambling.